right, now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
6 minutes after 3 o'clock on the 25th day of May in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. And welcome. Welcome to Max World on a Wednesday afternoon. Appreciate you being here. You know what I had? I had a friend of mine tell me today, Frank?
What?
And this is a good friend.
Okay.
And, when good friends tell you things that you don't want to hear, that's probably a sign that you probably should listen.
Okay.
He said, I shouldn't say this on the air, but I'm going to. He said that I seem so bold and sure of myself on the radio, but in person, I'm extremely humble and even somewhat insecure. And I would tell him that he's got it right off the air, because I am an insecure person. Anybody, well, that's a bad thing to say, but anybody who tells you they're completely secure. Now, if we're talking about identity, I'm secure in my identity. That's one of the things that Jesus gave me when he mugged me. He told me that I was not this and not this and not this and not this and not this, but he told me you are this, and I am the son of a risen king, and that he loves me unconditionally, and that there is nothing I can do short of leaving him that would cause him to ever feel any different about me. In fact, even if I left him, he would love me maybe even more. So my identity as far as insecurity is very solid. But when I get off the air, I don't know, you guys know me off the air. He just thought it was interesting because on the radio, I'm very bold, and I act like I know exactly what I'm talking about. And the truth of the matter is I know very little about what I'm talking about. My job is to facilitate a conversation, not to tell you what I think and then have you agree or disagree.
Now, you've known a lot of people in radio in 40 years. Don't you think that's the case with a lot of radio personalities, that it's kind of a cover or a defense mechanism, a lot of their bluster for a basically insecure person?
One of the things that yes, but I don't think you say that about radio. I think you say that about life. And I certainly know that when Jesus came and mugged me, I realized that there is a tremendous amount of power in being powerless. When I surrendered my will and my life over to the care of God, I was powerless. And now all of a sudden he fills me with this, maybe power's not the right word, with this comfort, this peace, that whoever I am, whatever circumstance I happen to be going through, it's a snapshot of my whole life of eternity with him. And so I just don't, the old saying, don't sweat the little stuff? I just don't sweat the little stuff anymore. Does that make sense?
It's described as a peace that passeth
all understanding.
All understanding.
Keep your hearts in mind in the love of Jesus Christ.
So in other words, whatever chaos is going on, you can find some peace in the midst of that.
Well, and here's the other thing he said. He said, do you know that you're a troublemaker on the air?
Yes.
No, not you, me.
Oh.
That's funny. That's so funny.
You both are.
You are such a narcissist. Yes, I am.
Well, you said that you, did you know you?
Yeah, I know. And I suppose we do. I mean, we come on here, we put a topic out there. I want people to disagree or agree, and I want them to call in and tell me why. And off the air, me and my puppies, we're just cruising.
I find this interesting because I was just listening and conversing with Dr. Michael Brown.
I somehow knew you'd get that in.
Go
ahead and drop that name. Hi, I'm Frank DeVerse, and I'm friends with Dr. Michael Brown. Maybe Dr. Michael Brown would like a sidekick for the next, I don't know, 60 years.
He had a guest on air that was saying that Donald Trump is really a very kind, generous, humble individual in private, but that he's this boisterous, full of bluster guy in public. And I don't know that that covers insecurity on his part, but he was saying that he's a different person in private than in public.
Was that the Sid Roth that he had on?
Yes.
Yeah. I was listening to that. I didn't hear you, though.
Yeah, I was the very last guy.
I missed it. That's why. But I've heard other people say the same thing.
Meanwhile, I gave Frank a whole litany of things to do today before the show, and he got none of them done.
So
I
he
actually
ignored you.
posted one thing, and I tagged you in the post, so look at it and take that back and apologize.
Yeah, but
Did you hear what I wanted you to do? Did I ask you to post it? No.
Well, okay. Well, I just tagged you.
You assumed, and so you put it on Facebook, and you think that's the end of it.
No, that's a preliminary shot.
Okay. All right, we'll take a look at that. Robert, what were you saying? Because I'm sure it was much more important than what Frank had to say.
If I talk, you know it's really important.
I got it. Yeah, I feel the same thing about Jebediah.
No, I've been reading from other evangelical people, leaders, and so forth that have met with Trump and have said similar things, that he has a gentle spirit, his children honor him, and he's been through different marriages, but his children still honor him and respect him. And so that's important to him. And so I think slowly the evangelicals, I shouldn't say slowly, but people are coming around to thinking that maybe he is the one. So it's not just Sid Roth that I heard.
Well, and I could echo that, what you said, by just saying a man that has control of his own household clearly speaks volumes, because so many men in our world, in our country, don't have that control. So, I mean, even though he's a rich guy, his kids turned out, you don't see no scandals in the papers.
You don't see any scandals.
You don't see any scandals in the paper that they're on drugs or, arrested for drunken driving, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He seems to raised a pretty good family.
And what does that mean? You raise a good family. Does that mean you're a good dad? You're a good man? You're a good husband? I mean, I'm not. Well, I don't know how much that weighs in.
I think it speaks to the fact that he has some morals that has been instilled in him. As I told you one day, his brother, who died as an alcoholic, warned him, don't ever drink, ever. And he instilled that in his kids and his grandkids, and supposedly none of them touch alcohol or drugs.
Well, let's be careful here. I'm sure they don't touch drugs, illegal drugs.
Sure.
But there are prescriptions nowadays that people need to be on. And here's the other thing. So if Donald Trump is at a, let's say, a wedding reception or something like that, and there's a champagne toast, the fact that he picks up a glass of champagne and takes a sip does not validate the opposite.
Invalidate.
It doesn't invalidate the fact that he doesn't drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if a person tells a lie one day, for whatever reason, you can't turn around and say that person's a liar. They're not a liar. They lied. If a person, let's get something worse. I'll use my deal. If a person goes out on a Friday night and gets cranked and drinks way too much, and the next morning they feel like heck, they may have gotten drunk, but they're not a drunk. Now,
right.
That's a binge drinker.
Yeah, right. And that they're very rarely, by the way, are binge drinkers alcoholics. Very rarely. So let's just be careful, because Hillary Clinton is going to hit this man on every level that she can. And one of them is going to be this multiple marriage. And she's going to say, hey, you all know what my husband and I have been through, and I refuse to leave him. So at least I stick with my one husband my whole life. And that'll be her line. You're smiling at me, Robert. Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling because being married to Bill Clinton is a powerful thing. You want to stick with a powerful person, no matter what. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I loved him no matter what. I was his stand by her man guy.
But I want you to remember, if you've read any books on Hillary, what her mother told Hillary, and she's bragged about this in the years since, that if anybody hit her in the schoolyard, her mother instructed her to double up her fist and hit them back twice as hard as she was hit. And recently, there has been some of the surrogates has made some allegations about Trump's philandering, and Trump has hit her back so hard that she has basically shut her down and said, well, we're just not going to respond to that. We're going to take the high road. That is not like Hillary, because when somebody attacks Hillary, she's the first one to attack him back, and she's not attacking, so she must be scared of Trump.
I don't know. You got to admit, this has got to be her worst nightmare. I mean, Trump has got to be her worst nightmare.
Well, he knows a lot about her. And,
yes, he does.
And they've funded, their campaign and probably their, the other. What's the other thing that they're?
Their World
Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, I'm sure he's poured a lot of money into
the Global Foundation.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of Clinton, and I was going to talk about this later, but just real quick here. A State Department's independent. Now, this is not some right-wing blog. This is the New York Times.
Yeah.
A State Department independent watchdog has issued a highly critical analysis of Hillary Clinton's email practices while running the department. The Inspector General, in a long-awaited review obtained today by the Washington Post and the New York Times, found that Clinton's use of private email for public business was, quote, not an appropriate method, unquote, of preserving documents, and that her practices failed to comply with department policies meant to ensure that federal record laws are followed. Now, do we want that person in charge of everything? She can't even follow it. And I know. You're a Hillary fan, and you're shouting. If you're a Hillary fan, call in and let me know. I'll treat you nice, and I won't let Frank bite. Otherwise, we're coming back with the top local news stories here live on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21, 25th day of May, Lord's year 2016. Why do I say that at the beginning of every break? Because I want you to know that this show is live. Now, there will be times when I'm gone, like Monday. I'm not working. Are you working Monday, Jeb? Are you going to come in and do the Jeb's World on Monday, Memorial Day?
I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll find out.
Okay. So that's why I do that. I want you to know that it's live every day. All right. I had a situation the other day, and as you may or may not know, I buy and sell a lot of real estate. And I tried to be a real estate agent a few years ago, and I was really bad at it. I think I'd probably be a better juggler than I was a real estate agent. So I went out and hired me a professional, not a friend, a professional, and his name is Seth Walker. You hear me talk about him. Had a situation where I emotionally, Frank, you certainly can't identify that I let my emotions get away with my common sense.
I've never done that.
No. And I really wanted to buy this property. It wasn't a big deal. Small thing. We're talking just small things. And I wanted to buy it for a couple different reasons because it spoke to me. It had some of the characteristics in an older home that I really enjoy, and that this would be a rental property. And old Seth, I mean, he knows me because he's interviewed me for being a client. He said, the only reason you want to buy this is because your heart's in it. And that's great. I love your heart, but that makes it a bad investment. See, that's why you need a professional in real estate. Because if Seth was not a professional, he would have thought to himself, Seth, that's what he calls himself when he talks to himself. Seth, this guy's ready to close. He's ready to write the check. He's emotionally all in. Get the sale.
You were emotionally invested.
Absolutely. Get the sale. You know, ching, ching, ching. That makes you so much money.
Which would have gave Seth money.
But down the line, when I'm whining and complaining about the property, Seth would have probably had to say, well, you know, that day you kind of said that it was emotional and you shouldn't probably do that for that reason. And I didn't say anything, Mac, and I'm sorry. That's why you hire a guy like Seth Walker. RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts, 577-3728. Frank, I'll go ahead. I'll let you say the number.
577-3728. Area code 515.
He's got it memorized. Why don't you memorize it? Seth Walker. All right, a little bit later on, I have a gentleman that comes and sits next to me, or not next to me, but around the same area at church that I sit. Yes, I do have my seats at church. And no, nobody else sits in them.
Are you sure? You have a reserve sign on
No,
it or
I
something?
don't. In fact, somebody took my seats.
If somebody was there, would you ask them to leave?
No. Oh, no. Good heavens.
You know what his reserve is?
Absolutely not.
His reserve is there. He gets there so early, nobody else can get it.
But you know what? Here's what happened. So I do have these normal two seats that I sit in, me and my wife. And several times I put the placeholders on there. I just a bulletin folded over the top. This young couple comes and they move them. And then I come down there and I look at them. And I'm nice. How are you? Nice to see you. So what happens last Sunday, I come down. I had not saved a seat yet. CJ wasn't going to church that day. What did that young man have? He had two seats in front of him saved for me. I sit down and he says, Mac, here, I saved these for you. Well, thank you. That's awesome. So anyway, why did I bring that up? What were we discussing that I needed to talk about seats in church?
That's a good question. I think we were talking about Seth Walker.
Okay. Well, anyway.
No, some guy came and sat next to you. He was going to talk about our guests.
Yeah, some guy came in and sat in my vicinity, and I love the way he worships. I'm a little
timid.
No, I'd say Pentecostal.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not a Lutheran. Well, I am a Lutheran.
So
I belong to a Lutheran church.
So you're a little charismatic.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Is that what I want to say?
Yes.
I mean, if the music moves me, my hand is up. And I don't have any problem when the preacher's preaching something. I don't say it loud, but I don't have any problem when I'm convicted by saying amen.
You've never been known to roll or dance in the aisles, though, have you?
I do not do that.
Okay.
In fact, I don't sit down or I don't kneel down. I don't. But my right hand, if you ever see me in church, my right hand, I want you to look at your palm, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your palm, take your thumb and fingers and kind of rub them like you're rubbing in some oil across the top 4 of your fingers with your thumb and then down into your palm. I do that because that's where I'm feeling Jesus. I'm just feeling that he's trying to take my hand or that his presence is right there. And so every once in a while, I'm a little, what'd you call it, charismatic?
Charismatic.
I don't think anybody would call me. Well, in that room, I'm probably charismatic.
Well, charismatic / celebrationist.
You're not afraid to show some emotion.
No.
And some churches don't allow emotion.
Well, and I used to be. Man, I used to sit there and see people doing that, and I'd think, you're just a bunch of show-offs, you know? And then Jesus mugs me, and all of a sudden I feel this desire to just put my hand up. I put my hand up and just, wow. I mean, because music does impact me. I love contemporary Christian, and I love gospel. I am a Gaithers crazy guy. Love the Gaithers. Every Saturday night, I think it's 5:30 to 6:30 or something like that on Iowa Public Television. So anyway, this gentleman, and I kind of noticed him, and then somebody came up to me at church, Stephanie, and said, have you met this guy? I said, no, I've seen him. He's really a cool guy. He's really got his stuff together. He's big into people's dreams. You ought to introduce yourself. So I introduced myself, and he's coming on the show today. And we're going to ask you what your big dream is. And here's why you're going to share it. And you can share it by text or you can share it by phone. But the reason you're going to share it is because maybe, just maybe, God has somebody out there listening to the radio, watching the webcast, listening to the podcast, who could say, well, I could do that. That person wants to ride a horse. Well, Bob, you've got a horse farm. We could solve that. This person wants to hear endless spewing of worthless verses. And so I just put them down with Frank, and they could hear endless spewing of worthless verses all day long. Or maybe you at home. Maybe this person wants to be a truck driver, and you happen to have a truck business. Maybe this person wants to write a book, and you happen to be an editor. So we're going to do that today. What is your dream? You can call it in or you can text it in. Call is 515-244-0077. Text is 515-809-0993. I don't think that text, I've got to make sure on our website that those two numbers are there. I think the call-in line is, but I don't know if the text is. I need to put that on our website at 993thetruth.com. All right, let's hit a couple of local news stories. You're smiling at me, Robert. Did you get a text that makes you...
No. I was just thinking about what you said. Worthless verses. I was curious.
what the worthless verses would be?
Which one of those?
Whenever he goes to Hezekiah.
Oh, okay.
And he starts quoting Hezekiah.
Okay, or second opinions.
That's right. Oh, yeah, Frank's second opinions all the way. Okay. And see, to Frank, it's not the Old Testament, it's the original Testament. I mean, do you even care about the New Testament?
Do you feel that that the Old Testament is inspired, since Christ spoke of it all the time? Have you not heard? Have you not read? It is written?
Yeah.
Okay, so the New Testament wasn't around when Christ was walking the earth, so what was he quoting from? It certainly wasn't Paul's writings.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Bob knows it. By the way, Whittle Quist. Whittle itty bitty Quist Wowoff. He's home today with a cold. So Katie's taking care of him, and Stephanie's taking care of him, and I'll bet you right now that Katie's got her little fingers on those big feet, and she's like giving him that foot massage. That's because that's Poor little guy. That's what he needs.
Well, you beat the poor guy up just terrible.
I didn't
yesterday.
beat him up. I did not.
He said, leave. Get out of here. Go home.
Oh, you mean that part? Yeah. I thought you meant about the other thing. He's just wrong on that topic about guns, but we're just going to have to keep beating on him. All right. So 515-244-0077 or the Truth Talk text line, 515-809-0993. Wave your magic wand. What's your dream? I'm serious, dude. What's your dream? Or dudette? Somebody right now could be listening to this radio station who could fulfill that dream in a heartbeat. And you're not going to take the time to share it because why? Because you don't have enough minutes left on your cell plan?
Now, Mac, I need to get a clarification. He's not a dream interpreter, correct?
No.
If you have a dream...
No. That's witchcraft.
It's something that you hope to do.
Yeah.
Or something for your life that you want to be.
Yeah, or sometimes it's called a...
aspiration.
Or inspiration.
No, I was going to say bucket list.
Oh, well, aspiration is...
let's just say, let's give an example. Somebody's always wanted to be on the radio with their mother or their father or their daughter or their son. They just want to come on and do something. Do we know anybody in this room that can make that happen? Jebediah can. Yeah. All they got to do is call Jebediah, offer him enough bribe, and they can come in and sit in for Frank sometime. In fact, hey, if they want to replace Frank, Jebediah, no charge. No charge.
In fact, we will pay them to replace Frank.
Yes, we will.
They'll make double what I make.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. If you're sitting there listening, you're going, how did Mac know? That's been my dream to come in and be on a radio show one day. If that's your dream, cowboy, you better be picking up that phone and calling me. Because I can make that happen all day long. You realize that, don't you? I mean, look at Frank. Frank is a talk show junkie who called into every single show I've ever been on. And one day, just to annoy Bradshaw, I invited him into the studio. And like a feral cat, he won't go away.
You know what he was going to have me do? He was going to have a call come in, and Bradshaw was going to be sitting in the show.
Yeah, right.
And he was going to have a call come in, and they was going to answer the phone. Then I was going to come walking into the studio with the cordless phone in my hand. And is it live or Memorex?
Well, it's never been my dream to be on the radio.
So never. Bob, I know it's not, but that's a ministry for you. God called you to do this. That we all know that. But so it's not about interpretation of dreams. It's what's your dream? What's your bucket list? What's your, man, if I could do this, if I could wave my magic wand and do this, this is what I want to do. And somebody out there's listening that'll go, heck, that's easy. I can do that. But it's up to you to call. All right, we have, I just got to talk about this. Dateline, Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines police are investigating another shooting this morning that injured a person. Officers in the area of the 1800 block of 22nd Street heard shots fired. That's not 22nd and West Des Moines. Shots fired shortly after 2 a.m. 2 a.m. morning.
That's like 22nd and MLK.
Right. A gunshot victim, 25-year-old Robert Oley, showed up at Broadlawns Hospital shortly after the shooting. Police say he was shot in the leg and is expected to survive. Witness told police a possible suspect in the shooting took off in a car. Police were able to recover shell casings. But guess what old Robert's doing? He's refusing to be cooperative. In fact, it actually says, police say the victim of the shooting is being uncooperative. Doesn't that just burn your toes?
It's a code. It's the gang code.
I just think that's, I don't know. He ought to be charged with withholding information in a criminal case, something. I don't know. All right, we're coming back. We are live. And what is your dream? Not the one you have when your eyes are shut. Your dream, dude. What do you want to do? What's your bucket list? Share it with us on the air. That's what we're doing today, live in Mac's World.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then, us again. I've invited Alan Little, which you're going to meet in a little bit, to come in and have a fun show with us today. When I asked Alan what he was passionate about, he said helping people reach their dreams. What'd you say? To think big. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Both of them, yep.
Yeah, you got to speak up. This is radio. They cannot hear it when you shake your head going, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, achieving dreams and also thinking big as well.
All right, so not only thinking you can achieve a dream, but making it the big dream.
The bigger, the better.
Yeah, I've always said if you're going to go for the if you're going to ride the merry-go-round, go for the brass ring. Start with the thing you want the most, and then if you can't get it, just step down one. Don't start at the bottom where it's easy, because you'll get it if it's easy, and then it won't fulfill you. So think big. Think about incredible.
Yes.
So Alan's going to be a part of that show. Meanwhile, we're still going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on in the news, Frank.
So you're saying don't go for the low-hanging fruit?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I'll tell you something that Brian Leach taught me. Do you know where the best fruit on a tree is? Now, I'm speaking metaphorically, because I'm speaking about life.
The ones you can't reach.
Very close, yes. Brian Leach says if you want to find the good fruit, you got to go out on the skinny branch, because the skinny branch is the tough one. It's the one that's not so stable. It's the one that when you put too much weight on it, it kind of bows and it kind of freaks you out, because if it breaks, you're on the ground and there's no fruit. But the best fruit. So, in other words, let's think of an example here. Okay, so this is hypothetical. Hypothetical. So there's this guy I know, and he's always wanted to be in radio. And no skills. Yeah, talent. Yeah, no skills, lots of talent. Good in his head. But for me to ask him on my radio show, not only once, but maybe more than once, oh my gosh, I'm going to the bottom of the barrel. I mean, I'm talking about just high maintenance to interview or to manage. I asked him today at I don't know what time it was. It was probably 9:30 to do a little assignment for me. And what did he do? He didn't do it.
This hypothetical guy now.
Hypothetical. We'll call him hypothetical hillbilly. And I had this opportunity to teach him how to be a reporter, to a journalist, to do the snoop thing, the go out and get the scoop, Batman or Superman. And so what do? I come into work today. I go out on the skinny branch to get him some fruit from what he's always wanted. And I come in today, and what's he doing? He's not doing what I told him to do. He's being a bigwig on the radio, on another national radio show. He's calling in. Now, this is, of course, hypothetical. But that would be an example of somebody going out to the skinny branch. And then I don't get any fruit because he's not doing what he's supposed to do. So I may be Donald Trump and just say, you're out of here.
Well, that life-giving sap or syrup that the tree provides.
I didn't call him a sap. Don't call him a sap.
Maybe the skinnier branch gives more of that flow to the fruit than the heavier branches down below.
Maybe. So, Alan, how are you?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where's home? Where's home? Home.
Well, home. Well, home for me is Champaign, Illinois. It's where the University of Illinois is, home of the Fighting Illini. Woo! And for me, I lived in Champaign for a bit, went to high school and college there, and I was just at that stage of my life where it was like, I lived here my entire life, I needed to do something new, but at the same time, all of my friends were all just doing the same thing, just hanging out, partying, drinking on the weekends, working in the daytime. So I just snapped and said, you know what, I need to go somewhere better, I need to better myself. So I took a job in Iowa City, Iowa, just working a little phone job, a store manager, and from there moved to AT&T, partnered with AT&T and everything, and just kind of been living life here in Des Moines since.
Okay, and what brought you to Des Moines?
Well, there was an opening for AT&T corporate in Des Moines, and there was one in Des Moines and there was one in Davenport, and I chose Des Moines.
Yeah, good move. So how long have you been here?
I've been here for almost 2 years now.
And so far, so good?
So far, so phenomenal. I love it here.
What's the best thing about Des Moines?
The community of people. I love the people here.
What's the worst thing about Des Moines?
The people. No, just if I would say the worst thing, it's for me coming from the Chicago area. It was a little bit faster. It's more of a city there. Here, it's smaller. It's a little slower. But at the same time, I didn't come here just to have fun, So if I was here just to have fun and party, then yeah, it would be like the bar scene and all of that. But for me, everything's perfect.
So it's like when you're in the airport in Chicago.
Yes.
What are those things you step on and then they carry you? You know what I'm talking?
Escalator?
Well, escalators go up and down.
The straight one?
Yeah, the straight one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, if you go to Chicago Airport, there's the fast one and the slow one. So the fast one's like Chicago and the slow one's more like Des Moines.
Yes, perfect example, yes.
Okay, all right. So who's the most interesting person you've met here in Des Moines?
The most interesting person I've met here in Des Moines? I would have to say,
Frank, put your dollar down. You can't bribe this man.
J. Michael McCoy.
Oh no.
One of the most interesting people I've met here is actually one of my mentors. His name's Jeremy Larson.
Okay.
And he's a guy where he worked as a hotel manager, and he actually lost his job, started a couple of entrepreneurial projects, and now he became a self-made millionaire, highly successful here in Des Moines. And I saw him, I'm like, literally, what did you do to get where you were, to go from unemployed, just over 30 years old, nowhere to go, and now you're here self-made millionaire less than 5 years. And that's really where my personal development, a lot of it started there.
Okay. And what did he say he did? I mean, what's the short answer?
The short answer is this. When you change, everything will change for you.
When you change. Ooh, I like that. Mm-hmm. When you change, everything will change for you.
Yes.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, it depends on what you have to change.
Yes.
It depends on what you have to change, Mac.
Yes.
Is God telling me to make these changes? No, that was a question.
Oh, God?
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, my belief, God wants for you the grandest version of what you want for you, you see? And sometimes what God sees for us, there's times that we just don't see, why is this happening? Why do I have to change? But ultimately, we all want a happier, more fulfilling life. But if we're stuck in a mindset of mediocrity, then we're constantly creating the life we don't want. So God will send these little messengers, these little hints like, hey, in all reality, you want a better life, but every day you're waking up doing the thing to create a life that you don't want. So I'm here to aid you to achieve that better life. But we just have to, it's just a process of accepting the aid and not being uncoachable, you see?
I like that.
There's kind of an old saying that fits into that insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yes.
So if you want to be trapped in mediocrity, like you say, just keep doing the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the saying? If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect.
All right. So what we're going to do today, and I've got news stories to go around this. I hope the phones are filled. But sometimes have you ever called a radio show?
Oh, I've called before, yeah.
Have you? Okay. This one?
No, not this one. No.
Some people just,
timid.
Some people just don't want to pick up the phone and hear their voice on the radio. So for that, we also have a truth text line from Service Legends. And you can text anything you want into there. 515-809-0993. What's your dream? What's your dream? And as Alan says, let's dream big. Because here's my theory. In fact, I don't think it's a theory. I can prove this is true. If you call in and share what your dream is and we put it on the radio, there's a good chance God may put somebody in front of the radio that can hear that and then can make that dream come true. You people can't see this, but you're obviously a specimen of very good health. I mean, you work out, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I run and do a couple push-ups every night.
Okay. So if somebody called in and said, man, I just need somebody to run with.
Yes.
Maybe Alan would run with you.
I'll run with you. Sure. I love to run.
Maybe somebody says, I would just like to put an apple on somebody's head and shoot an arrow at him. Frank says, choose me. So that person to fulfill that dream may be sitting in front of the radio right now, but you're never going to know if you don't call in and share your dream. All right. Alan Little is my guest. Frank's here. Bob's here. Jebediah's here. And most importantly, you're here. Thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on The Truth. Yep. 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then when we come back, it's Dream Big Day. Alan Little is here. He's an inspirational guy. He believes that if you speak your dream, God may put someone in the way of that sound, in the way of your voice, to help you reach that dream. Now, you'll say, oh, I was with some girlfriends once, and we were doing like a crocheting thing, and one of the girls said, oh, I'd really like to XYZ, and none of the girls could help her. You know, they wish they could have helped her. And there were 6 or 7 ladies in the crochet group, right? The church Bible study group. Maybe you're the church lady. But now you're going to be on the radio, and the signal goes out all across Iowa. And there's some guy sitting in his tractor right now, or there's some young lady sitting at her desk, or there's a mother or a grandmother or a daughter or a son who, when you say, this is my big dream, I want a blank, they go, hey, I could make that happen. And your big dream could come true. But you'll never know if you don't speak it in the truth. Now, you don't have to just say it on the radio. You can also text us at 515-809-0993. That's the Service Legends Truth text line. And, Bob, do we have any texts? I think Wendy came in and said something.
Yes. And no, you do not have to give your name over the air.
No, of course not. No. In fact, just here, every male is Bob and every lady is Betty. So Bob and Betty are calling in today. Just Bob and Betty. Because gender is important to me. Bob and Betty. That's how you were created. I want to call you how you were created. Bob and Betty. Or Wendy. However you choose to want to do that. Jill King says something interesting to me on Facebook. She says, do you think everybody always has a dream? I said, yes. Just some are afraid to speak it out loud. They fear rejection. It's the burst the bubble syndrome. Oh, man, that'll never happen. If you want to do what? Oh, come on. You better change that dream because that'll never happen. Boom. There goes the bubble, right?
Yes.
So what's one of your dreams?
One of my dreams is towards the future. I want to be a Hollywood actor.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So what are you doing in Iowa? Hollywood's about 1,500 miles that way. 1,500 miles that way.
It's a process. I have many goals, and to make it to Hollywood, you have to be a phenomenal actor or a phenomenal person. And I still have a lot of work to take care of here in Iowa.
Well, I think you're a phenomenal person. Are you taking acting classes?
Not acting classes just yet. That's further down the road.
Okay. Let me tell you a story. Mm-hmm. Bob, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a lot of people from Iowa that are actors.
Yeah. Well, wow. There's a lot of actors in every state. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you a true story. This is probably 1984, 85, and a young man who works for me at the time at one of my radio stations, he's there for a year. And it's his time for a year review. And I don't believe reviews at work should be anything but fun. Okay? So when I'm going to give you a review, we're going to go to lunch. We're going to go do something you enjoy doing. You're going to take the day off on the day of your review, by the way. And then we're going to meet somewhere. And we're going to probably talk pretty candidly. But chances are, if you're there after a year, you're probably doing well. Or you've been out the door by then.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at the, what was the name of that restaurant? The Harvester Restaurant. You wouldn't know where that is. I think it's a piano store now. And I'm talking with this young man, and this is a young man who was in sales, and if his goal was $100,000 that month, he'd probably hit 110. Very rarely would he hit 95, but he'd never hit 150. If his goal the next month was 150, he'd probably do 150, 160. He'd never do 145, but he'd never do 175 either. Just getting by, just, keeping his behind clean and doing the job. So I said, how long do you think you're going to be selling radio? Oh, I don't know. I enjoy it, but it's not what I want to do. And I said, well, if you could wave your magic wand to do anything, what would you do? And his eyes got bright, and he sat up, and he looked at me, and he said, oh, Mac, I'd love to be a professional golfer. I'd love to be the golf pro at a country club somewhere where I'm teaching young people how to golf. That would be incredible. And I can see his face right now. It was just a complete change of expression. Move the clock forward to, I was living in the house I'm living in now, so at least within the last 10 years. One afternoon, my cell phone rings, and this young man identifies himself. Mac, how are you? It's so-and-so. And I said, well, I'm great. How are you? He said, good. I just have to call you. He said, this afternoon, they're going to install me as the golf pro at a country club here in someplace in America. And he said, I'm going to give you credit in my whatever you call it, acceptance, whatever. Speech. And he said, I knew you wouldn't hear it, so I wanted you to know that without that day, and I really forgot about it. I mean, that's kind of the conversation I have with a lot of people about what are you doing? Like you just said, I want to be an actor. Well, are you taking acting classes? No. Are you going out for plays? Well, no. Well, I want to be in Hollywood. Do you live there? No. Well, then what are you doing? And that's what I said to this young man. He said, I want to be a golf pro. And I said, when did you play golf last? Oh, I don't know. Well, did you play yesterday? Oh, no. Well, last week? No, probably a month ago or so. Well, I said, you're never going to be a golf pro. Mm-hmm. You're just dreaming, buddy. Just keep dreaming. Mm-hmm. And he took that seriously, and he went out and became a golf pro.
Wow.
So it always matters who you share your dreams with. Mm-hmm. You can share them with anybody. God wants you to share your dreams with everybody. Don't be a bubble burst type of person. Oh, I'm scared of saying my dream because somebody will turn around and tell me that'll never happen, and that'll burst my bubble. Well, you're never going to get your dream done anyway because you allow other people to speak darkness into your life. Speak light. This is what I want to do, Lord. Lord, is this something we can make happen? How can I make this happen, Lord? Well, maybe just call in today and say it. Maybe just call in today and speak it out loud. Costs you nothing. You may have to be Betty or Bob, but it's your voice I want to hear. All right, we're coming up on a break. Do we have a few more texts that we could share, Robert?
I do have one that came in here, and it says, I love to hunt, but haven't successfully hunted for 3 years. I want to be able to hunt deer, turkey, hogs, etc. with my son and or wife.
Okay. What's my friend's name? Patrick. Chance Patrick. Remember we had him on the show here?
Yeah.
He's a big outdoor hunter. Whoever just did that, go on my Facebook and go to Chance. Isn't it Chase or Chance?
I think it's Chance.
Patrick. Chance Patrick.
Yeah.
Go to him and say, you heard Mac talking on the radio that I wanted to go hunting with my son, and Mac thought maybe you could make that happen for me. In fact, I know he'll make that happen. That's one of his joys. He just put a picture on Facebook a little bit ago. He caught a snapping turtle. So he's right there right now. There you go. How about that? Gonna make your big dream happen? We can't unless you speak it. But if you speak it, we can. The truth will always set you free. All right, 515-244-0077 or 515-809-0993. That's the Service Legends Truth text line. That's where we don't need to hear your voice, just your heart. When we come back after the top of the hour, you're never going to believe what a Department of Transportation driving instructor did in Ankeny. This isn't somewhere else. This is in Ankeny. It will amaze you. And why are 11 states choosing to sue the Obama administration? We'll talk about that in the next hour and your big dream, because your dream could become a reality. Alan Little is here, Frank's here, Bob's here, Jebediah's here, and more importantly, you're here. Thanks for listening to The Truth.